Starting recording. I think we're good. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, maybe if you're lucky. Football fans, this is the Backups of Football podcast. It's looking a little bit different this week. The next few weeks probably because of the coronavirus. But we're doing a little. We're good old Rona. We're doing a little Skype. We're doing a little this. We're doing a little that, and we're out here talking about free agents today. We were just kind of going over them on the call before we started, and I said, you know what? Fuck it. We need to be doing all this talk on the podcast itself. So,
For sure.
We got to practice that social distancing right now since we're not all together.
Yeah.
How far you're about 20 feet away from Hunter, Trevor?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's standard.
I think that's standard.
6 feet, something like that.
I'm about 60 miles down the road. But yeah, good job. There you go. Looking about 20 feet. That's pretty good. Today we're going to hit on all sorts of different free agents. There's been a lot happening in the free agent world along with trades over the past couple of weeks, and we want to hit on all of that in this episode, starting with QBs. So Trevor, you got a little list in front of you?
I do. We're going to start out with the one and only Tom Brady. This man, after all these years with the Patriots, went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with that battle line. I mean, it's got good targets, not the best backfield, and an okay defense. That blew my mind.
I think it's a good pickup for Tampa and not a bad move on Brady's end because Brady did complain about having no targets all last season. And so now he has Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and O.J. Howard, if you want to count O.J. Howard. I'm not because he screwed my fantasy league. So screw you, O.J. Howard. Anyway, but all in all, I think it's a good pickup. All they have to do is kind of reinforce that offensive line a little bit, and then Brady's going to be able to just literally have a field day with the receivers that he has.
Yeah, if Tampa Bay wasn't picking at 14, I'd think that they'd probably go OT, but right now, from what we've mocked a bunch of different times, it's not looking like an OT is going to make it there in the top 4. So I'll be interested to see what they're looking for more in the offseason through free agency, if they're looking at any OTs, any other linemen, stuff like that.
All right, next we have the Phillip Rivers, formerly of the Los Angeles Chargers for his whole career, to the Indianapolis Colts. I like this move for the Colts. It's pretty safe, keeps them in playoff running. He should be just fine behind that O-line. We'll see how his arm is next year because he is getting old. But I like the move. It's not the best move, but I like it.
I think it's a solid move. It'll give Phillip Rivers a chance to chase after that elusive ring that he's been hunting his entire career. And he's always come so close but has never been able to get there. He's going to be behind the best offensive line he's probably ever been behind in his entire career, led by Quentin Nelson. Getting Anthony Costanzo back for the Colts was a huge pickup at left tackle, so there's even less question marks there. There are a few question marks about his skill positions around him, outside of T.Y. Hilton and Marlon Mack, who does struggle to stay on the field. So we're going to see how that ends up, but he is reconnected with Frank Reich, so I like that move.
Yeah, that's good.
Next we have Teddy Bridgewater. He went across the division. He went to the Carolina Panthers. I actually love this. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan by how much they paid him because he still makes me nervous. He played 5 games last year. But overall, it's a good pickup, better than Cam Newton, in my opinion, and better than everything they had on the roster. So overall, should be just fine for them.
Yeah, he looked strong in his games last season, being Drew Brees' backup. I don't know if he was really worth all that he got going to Carolina, but if they think he's going to be the starter this year, I guess they're going to have to pay him. I guess they have faith in him too. He was surrounded by some pretty good talent in New Orleans. It'll be interesting to see. He's got McCaffrey, and that's about it in Carolina. So I don't know.
He does still have DJ Moore, and they did just bring in Robby Anderson. So the targets are there potentially, but it is going to be interesting to see how he fits into that offense. Because I never saw Teddy Bridgewater as more than just a game manager, kind of on the same tier of Ryan Tannehill. But as we saw with the Titans this year, having a competent quarterback can get you a lot farther than having a dumb quarterback. So,
agreed.
Yeah.
All right, next we have good old Nick Foles, formerly of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He got traded to the Bears, so he's going to be fighting for that QB1 spot against the legendary Mitchell Trubisky, who is trash in my opinion. He might have a bounce back here, we'll see, but not looking very good. I think if the O-line holds up and he can stay healthy, it should be an okay pickup for them. I think it should be a good battle in camp over the summer if we have camp at Rona. What y'all think?
I think it's an okay pickup. I'm not huge on Nick Foles after watching him struggle in Jacksonville last year. I thought he was going to be a potentially good starter for Jacksonville, but he kind of dropped the ball. It's going to be interesting to see who wins that QB battle because, truthfully, I don't have faith in either one of them to lead the Bears to the playoffs. But it will be good for Foles because he's going to be reconnected with Matt Nagy, who was his OC when he was in Kansas City for a couple of years. So that could be a good pickup for them. It also might light the fire under Trubisky that everyone's been hoping for, and we might see him be able to step his game up to what he was supposed to step up to this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's likely that we're going to see during the season just like kind of a back and forth. It's going to be like week to week, like to see who starts because I don't like you said, I don't think either of these quarterbacks are really going to have too much success. But I do like it for the Bears, just trying to find somebody to light a fire under Mitch Trubisky's ass.
Agreed. Next is John Gruden's classic. I'm going to grab a quarterback every year in free agency. And he grabbed Mr. Marcus Mariota, formerly of the Tennessee Titans. And I think Gruden is just looking for somebody to beat out Derek Carr. And he's finally got the most competition against Derek Carr for Mariota, which I don't think he's that great. I need to see like big leaps from him to really be behind him on anything. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's an okay pickup. I'm a decent fan of Derek Carr. I think he's a decent game manager. What do y'all think?
So I really like Marcus Mariota as a quarterback. I loved him when he came out of Oregon. I loved him on his Heisman run. I actually had him rated higher than Jameis when they both came out that year. Marcus Mariota has every single trait you're looking for in this new era's quarterback. He's mobile. He can make the throws. He's accurate. What he's lacking is confidence. And I'm going to be interested to see how he does competing for a starting job against a starter who you could even argue has the same type of issues in terms of confidence. So I think Gruden, if anybody's going to fix Mariota, Gruden's the guy to do it. And I think this has the potential to be a very sneaky pickup for the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, just coming off injuries and stuff like that, you just got to make sure he stays healthy too. But I think that could be a good fit for Las Vegas this season.
The last guy we got going as far as getting signed by a team is Case Keenum. He went to the Browns. Not a huge name, but just someone noteworthy. He reunites with the Browns, I believe. So get some pressure and a good safety net behind Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a solid pickup because he's going to reunite with Kevin Stefanski from their Minnesota days. And I think this is easy insurance in case anything goes wrong with Baker, whether that be injury or Baker just struggling.
Or Baker being Baker.
Exactly.
And then a few names that got re-signed by their teams. We got Ryan Tannehill went back to the Titans. Taysom Hill went back to the Saints as so did Drew Brees, is what I'm trying to say. Then we got some guys who are still in the market. We've got Cam Newton, and making a list. I think personally, my top two targets for him, where he should go, would be either the Chargers or the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's got a shot to start at either one of those places, but a couple dark horse places would be Washington to reunite with Ron Rivera, or just New England because all they have is Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, I mean the Redskins did just trade for Kyle Allen. 5th round pick, which God knows how that happened. Where I don't know who in that office determined that Kyle Allen was worth a 5th round pick, but it's probably the same people who determined the D-Hop trade. We'll get to that in a minute. But but I think it's really likely he goes to the Chargers or the Jaguars, like you said. I could see him in the Chargers system. I think it would be good, considering they have just Tyrod Taylor right now. They need a quarterback in that system desperately. So that would be my top pick for sure. It'd be LA. I'm pretty sure Hunter feels the same way.
Yeah, I definitely think Cam's best fit would be LA, especially with Anthony Lynn's offense and him talking about how he likes mobile quarterbacks. Cam fits that to a T, and he'd be able to come in and compete with Tyrod Taylor, who I just don't think's worthy of being an NFL starter. So,
agreed. Next we have Jameis, same kind of situation. I think he fits today's NFL a little bit better just because he's more accurate. Only problem is the decision making at times can be pretty
awful,
shitty. So I think it's the same kind of situation. It's either Chargers or Jacksonville. Maybe New England, but he just does not read New England guy to me for Jameis.
Yeah, I think Belichick would hate him. So
agreed.
I think there's no chance. A lot of these teams that we were talking about with quarterback needs before in our mock draft and like in earlier episodes, I feel like kind of took care of their things in free agency. So I'll be interested to see what the quarterback market looks like come like draft day. But
yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see Jameis go to Pittsburgh. I know we just kind of moved past that a little bit.
Good spot.
Oh, you're good. No.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
I think that'd be a great spot for him to sit behind Big Ben, especially with Big Ben's injury history. Mason Rudolph struggled last year when given the reins. And at least with Jameis, you're going to get a guy who can throw it. Granted, might be to the other team sometimes, but he can still fling the ball.
He can throw it.
But he can throw.
He can throw. So,
I mean, he might end up being Tom Brady's backup for another year. Who knows?
Exactly. Nobody knows. So,
another name is Andy Dalton. He wants out of Cincinnati. He's not technically a free agent. I could see him very highly going to New England. Them just throwing in some kind of pick once Cincinnati picks up Joe Burrow, and really Andy Dalton wants out. So we'll see how that goes. I like that fit.
Yeah, I mean, with only Jarrett Stidham, it's possible that they sign somebody like Andy Dalton, or trade for somebody like Andy Dalton. We were also talking about Joe Flacco earlier being a possible New England fit. So if he doesn't retire, and I think you mentioned something too about Jacoby Brissett. Could be a possibility later in the season. They see somebody struggle, reunite him with Belichick, bring him back in that system.
Especially if Rivers is working out.
For sure. I would love to see Andy Dalton to the Patriots, just because I think that's the best fit for the Patriots and for Andy Dalton both. Joe Flacco is another name, like you were saying, Cato. But all in all, I think the Patriots need to add a veteran quarterback to sit behind Stidham, or at least compete with Stidham. They just signed Brian Hoyer, but that's not really any competition. So
yeah, it's not much.
Okay, another name I just remembered. So Alex Smith should be healthy by now, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Because he had his was bad, especially because he got infected and all that.
I think he's okay now. I'm not positive on this, but I think he's okay now. So that could be a real dark horse to throw out there. Who knows where he might end up?
I think he's still under contract with the Skins.
Oh. Could be a good backup for Dwayne Haskins then. Yeah.
Yep.
I like him more than Ryan Allen.
Kyle Allen.
Thank you.
He's so bad you don't even know his name.
and I think that's fine for Kyle Allen, honestly.
All right. So we're gonna move on to the running backs now. So the running back news, there were some big running back changes this season. Mm-hmm. One of which was Melvin Gordon going from the Chargers to the Broncos.
Yeah. I don't love that. I think that Royce Freeman and Phillip Lindsay kind of got it covered in Denver, but I guess they were feeling a little bit weak. Or Denver felt that they were a little bit weak last season. I mean, the production wasn't up. So who knows what it'll turn into. Melvin Gordon wasn't even the RB1 in LA last year, so.
I disagree. I like that move for the Broncos. I'm not a huge Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman fan, and I think Gordon could just be the workhorse there. I think it'll work out really well in their offense. Give Drew Lock another weapon.
I definitely think it has the potential to be one of those big, high-profile moves, but it's a weird pickup to me. I think Gordon just kind of picked there to go within division and to say screw you to the Chargers after his holdout didn't work. So,
I mean, the money's not too bad either. I don't remember the exact contract, but it was a lot less than he was wanting, that's for sure.
Yeah, next on the list, we have Jordan Howard going from Philadelphia to Miami. That pickup, to me, could be interesting. He doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires after his time in Chicago and his time in Philly. So Miami is getting a bruiser who can run between the tackles and just churn out the tough yards, kind of similar to Carlos Hyde type guy as a back. I don't think he is the feature back or should be the feature back, but I think he could be a very good 1-2 punch with a guy kind of like maybe DeAndre Swift. What do you guys think?
I'm not a Jordan Howard fan. I don't think he fits today's NFL. I just don't think he has much in the tank at all. But it could be a good little depth thing, so we'll see how it runs.
Yeah, I mean, luckily they didn't – I don't think they paid him too much. It was like a 2-year max, like, what, $10 million or something like that?
Yeah, pretty much along those lines.
So maybe it'll work out. I mean, he won't be the RB1 anyway, I don't think. Oh, no, he may be. I guess who else is there? Phillip Laird?
They pretty much have no running back depth at all. I think this was just kind of an insurance pickup in case they didn't draft anybody.
Yeah. Maybe he'll be good to show a new running back the ropes, something like that, come next season. But I would hope that they would pick a running back sometime in this year's draft.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, we got Todd Gurley going from the Rams to the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this one?
I think this was the biggest running back move of this free agency so far. It's kind of amazing to me that the Rams ate like $19 million in dead cap, something along those lines, and then just to get rid of a guy. So that kind of scares me as a Falcons fan. But for what the Falcons paid him, 1 year, $5 million, I think this should be really good value. I think he is an upgrade over Freeman immediately, as long as he's somewhat healthy. I'll take a 75% Todd Gurley over Devontae Freeman today.
Yeah, the only issue, like you said, is his health. It's his knees are gone, and he's only 26 years old. But he's been worn down. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully he will be that automatic upgrade as long as he can like hit between the tackles. I mean, they've got a couple of running backs in depth, so maybe he won't have to run every down.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of like this pickup as a Falcons fan. I do have my concerns about him, but it's nothing more than I was concerned about with Devontae Freeman coming back for another year. I think Gurley is more explosive than Freeman for sure. The knees do scare me, but all in all, I think Gurley being a rotational piece with Ito Smith, Olsen, and it'll just help him out long term. Kenyon Barner is still a free agent, so whatever said Kenyon Barner.
I would love for them to re-sign, but we'll see. I think aside from those, I mean, you have Devontae Freeman's now a free agent. Carlos Hyde, I think, is a free agent now.
Mm-hmm. He still is, yeah.
I'm not sure of any other like big names that would be that are going to get like re-signed to fill a big role anywhere.
I wouldn't be surprised if Frank Gore gets picked up somewhere just because he's Frank Gore.
He's so old, bro.
Yeah, he's 37. Another big name that was on the move was David Johnson.
Yes.
Hato, you want to talk about that one?
I couldn't tell you what was going through the Texans front office, their heads when it came to that trade.
Can you explain the train a little bit? We haven't hit on that yet.
It went DeAndre Hopkins and a fourth for David Johnson in a second. Was that what it was?
I think
something
so.
Like that. It was absurd. It was absurd. I can't imagine any person that would be like, oh yeah, we're gonna give away one of the best receivers in the NFL, but also we would like David Johnson, who I think's washed up.
They also took all of David Johnson's contract.
Which is, I mean, I just there was nothing good about that. I mean, the Bills had to give away more for Stefon Diggs, who, God bless him, he's a great receiver, but he's not DeAndre Hopkins.
No.
They had to give away more for Stefon Diggs than the Cardinals did for DeAndre Hopkins. I just can't understand it.
Yeah, this trade just blows my mind a little bit because it seems like it was an emotional decision from Bill O'Brien as opposed to a logical decision, because I think there's so many teams in the NFL that would have traded you at least a first-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins, and you're going to give him away for a second round and have to take David Johnson in the trade. That just doesn't make any sense at all. If you really wanted David Johnson that badly, you could have sat and waited for him to get cut.
It really just doesn't compute for me.
I remember when people thought the Khalil Mack trade was really bad, and then you look at this and you're just like, wow. It's horrible.
It's a different level, man. It's a different level.
Yeah, this was terrible.
But speaking of receivers, when it comes to free agents, Randall Cobb did end up going to Houston. I guess that they can like rebuild that receiving core. I don't really know, but they're paying him $9 million a year. He's 30. How do you guys feel about Randall Cobb in that situation?
I think Cobb is a number 2 receiver for most teams. He does have injury concerns. His route running smooth, and he was a weapon back when he played for Green Bay, but injuries have caught up with him, and he's just kind of inconsistent now in terms of being able to stay on the field.
I think it's just a solid pickup for Dallas. I don't think he moves the needle like too much, but their wide receivers need a little bit of help, so it's not too bad of a pickup in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. We also have Robby Anderson, who I think we just got news of today, right?
Yeah, it was today.
The day of recording that he's going to Carolina from the Jets, getting paid about $10 a year. I mean, I guess Carolina needs weapons. Their only other weapon was DJ Moore, aside from McCaffrey, obviously, but receiving wise. So you have DJ Moore and Robby Anderson in that same receiving core. Does he look like a wide receiver 1? God,
no. So I have so many mixed feelings about this because I think it was good for New York away from the Jets, but the Jets should have done everything in their power to keep him there. Because now Sam Darnold has absolutely nothing on that roster to work with, and I didn't think it was going to be possible for him to have a worse receiving core than he does now. But
yeah, I mean,
in terms of Carolina, I like the pickup. You were saying?
Oh, I was just going to say he did get Brashad Perryman, 1 year, $8 million. He signed to the Jets out of Tampa Bay, but that's about it. That's not much.
That's still not much.
Really
I don't know what the hell the Jets were thinking.
I don't know.
This guy go.
The Jets have really dropped the ball this offseason. I think
they can afford it too. They have the cap money too. This just does not make sense as far as the Jets. Carolina, I like to pick up because as far as past DJ Moore, there's not too much in my opinion.
So they have Curtis Samuel, but he's inconsistent as hell.
Yeah. I don't know. Jets, like you said, dropped the ball bad on this one.
Yeah. I think
Carolina got a good guy.
I think the only other big guy for like signing wise that we'd have to hit on, Emmanuel Sanders ended up signing with New Orleans, giving Drew Brees a wide receiver 2 there, someone aside from Mike Thomas to throw to. 2 years, $16 million. So what are your thoughts on that?
I love this move for the Saints, and I hate this move as a Falcons fan. It's going to be dirty, him and Michael Thomas. I don't know why the Niners didn't re-sign him. I don't think the money was too crazy, although they're not in the best cap situation at the moment. So it should be just a really good duo, especially for Drew Brees' maybe last year. So it really helps out their weapons.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this move in general. I think all in all that Emmanuel Sanders is a good pickup, but I don't think he fits New Orleans' system. I think they should have went for a more big-bodied receiver. gives someone like a bigger catch radius. Because Sanders has always been more of a deep ball guy, and Drew Brees doesn't have the same arm that he used to. So I don't know. I'm not huge on the move, but I don't think it was a bad move for Sanders if he's trying to get another ring.
All right, to mention just a couple more guys, AJ Green got tagged. I think we're all expecting it to be a tag and trade kind of thing. So we'll see where he ends up. I don't think it's going to be with Cincy. And then
I think he's going to stay with Cincy.
I don't think so.
I mean,
apparently Joe Burrow made it very clear that he wants to keep AJ Green in the picture, is what rumors are saying. So
that's something.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know. I mean, I think he doesn't want to be in Cincinnati at all. It's what he's like. His attitude has been. But I mean, if they want to pay him enough, I guess he'll stay. You know, or if he feels good enough about the whole Joe Burrow situation. But
a couple more names. We've mentioned a couple times. Stefon Diggs going to the Bills. Well, and D-Hop, just to mention it one more time, great pickup for Arizona. I know we roasted the Texans, but as far as Arizona, they fleeced the crap out of the freaking Texans. That was awesome.
How the hell do you convince somebody David Johnson is worth DeAndre Hopkins?
All right, I really don't know. I could not tell you, man.
Then I love the move for the Bills to get Stefon Diggs. I'd like to see him get more of a bigger body guy for Josh Allen, but one of the best route runners in the game for that price is okay to me, and he should be able to get open just because his routes are so crisp.
Yeah, I love the Diggs pickup. I think he's kind of like I'm not going to say a poor man's Odell Beckham, but I think that's the best way to describe him. He does all the same things OBJ does with just I don't know. I'm not going to say he's as good as Odell, but I think he's the same type of player that you're getting, and I think that's a great pickup for Buffalo.
Yeah, and I don't think that they were going to get any receiver of that caliber at their pick in the first round. So at that point, it's like because that was like every rumor that was flying around about that first round pick was like they're going receiver, and they need a wide receiver one in Buffalo, and so I doubt that they were going to get anybody of that caliber at pick 22. So I think it was a great trade.
One more guy is Marty Cooper re-signed with Dallas for a shitload of money. I like the move for Marty Cooper. It's a lot of money for Dallas. Hopefully it works out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how that affects their cap because I just truthfully don't remember what it was looking like with their cap space and how they're going to pay Dak, if they're going to pay Dak. But
yeah, that could be a whole nother quarterback carousel. So.
One more name to mention, just because it makes me laugh. Nelson Agholor went to the Raiders, which isn't like a huge deal.
Like $1 million, right?
Yeah, but the funny thing to me is Philly fans have been wearing his jersey around Philly because they don't want to catch the coronavirus because the man can't catch.
I swear to God, that man had more drops than anybody in the NFL. I bet, like, he really, like, I don't remember the last time I saw that man catch a pass. It is incredible.
I think it's a solid pickup, honestly, for the Raiders. They were looking a little thin at receiver, and the worst case with Agholor is you get a third or fourth string receiver, worst case. So, I don't know. I know y'all are shitting on Agholor for being a shit receiver, but I think it's actually a low-risk, high-reward pickup for the Raiders. So
Fair enough.
All right, let's move on to tight ends.
Yeah.
We'll go to Austin Hooper, former Falcon, moved to the Browns for a lot of money. We'll see how that works out for him. I mean, they already have David Njoku, so we'll see if he ends up being the 1 or 2 target for good old Baker. I think the move's okay for the Browns. I like it for Hooper just because he got paid. Don't have too many feelings on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. Njoku was suspended last year or was hurt? I can't remember.
I think he was hurt. I think he broke his arm at the start of the season.
Yeah, but he missed some time for sure. And hopefully just adding another weapon for Baker and that already kind of beefed up offense. Maybe that'll be good for him. I mean, Hooper looked great last year. So that's good for Cleveland. Hate to see him go from Atlanta. Young talent, great talent. But a good pickup for Cleveland. Can we talk about how people keep paying Jimmy Graham? Because I would love to talk about that. I'm just really confused.
Start talking about it.
He went to Chicago, 2 years, $16 million. I just don't understand. Jimmy Graham is 33 years old. Now at a point in time, Jimmy Graham was excellent. Like, Jimmy Graham was a different level. Now at 33, I just can't understand paying him $8 million a year.
I completely agree. He used to terrify me as a Falcons fan in his Saints days.
Yeah.
I could not stand the guy, so I was so happy to see him leave. But it's also frustrating to see a guy who's so good, and he's had Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, and Aaron Rodgers throwing to him, and it really has not been the same since Drew Brees.
Yeah.
So, and then he gets paid again. So I think his number is going to be even worse next year with Mitchell Trubisky or Nick Foles throwing to him.
I agree.
I don't know. I think it could be a good pickup for Chicago because they don't really have anybody else there for either of those guys to be throwing to, except for Allen Robinson, I think. So,
but I mean, the main problem for me is just the money. I just don't understand how they could pay him that much. I don't hate the pickup. It's just the contract is rough.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Another notable hit in free agency: Eric Ebron goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 years, $12 million, $6 million a year. I don't hate it. I mean, Eric Ebron is up and down. I feel like has been in Indianapolis, but Pittsburgh, he might be a good fit.
Oh yeah, I think that's a very good pickup by Pittsburgh and a good piece of business on their end, because they paid him less than they paid Jimmy Graham, or than Jimmy Graham got paid, and it's a younger, more dynamic tight end that you could argue is a good safety net for them.
Yeah, I agree. Same exact thing. Just a good little safety net for Pittsburgh. To mention another one, the Falcons replaced Austin Hooper by trading for former first-round pick Hayden Hurst from Baltimore. Gave up a second-round pick, and I think they swapped a couple late-rounders, I believe. Overall, for Atlanta, I think it's a really good pickup. He's very similar to the way Hooper plays, so it shouldn't be too much of a change in their offense. And then Baltimore got back a second-round pick for pretty much their third-string tight end, so I thought that was really good value for them as well.
Yeah, I like Hurst to Atlanta. Like you said, similar play style to Hooper, keeps the weapons in that offense, and I like him as a talent. I mean, I liked him coming out, and I'll be interested to see how he works in the system. Yeah. I think also Hunter Henry got paid, right? 1 year. How much money? Like $10 million, something like that.
So he got tagged, didn't he?
Yeah, he got tagged. They put him a contract through 2021, right? I'm trying to remember, but
I think so. I don't quite remember.
Something like that. And then finally, the two old men on the board, tight end wise, Greg Olsen to Seattle, and Jason Witten. 1 year, $4 million to the Las Vegas Raiders. The man, Jason Witten, is 38 years old and he's still playing football. It's incredible. He retired, he came back, and he's still on the field in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I love the Greg Olsen pickup to Seattle. I know we're on Jason Witten, but Greg Olsen to Seattle I think is a good pickup. Gives Russell Wilson a safety net, and Witten I'm surprised he didn't retire.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, he went to the booth, got roasted for being in the booth. Now he's back. I mean, I guess he's got to do what he's got to do. He might as well just go home to his children, though.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
All righty. Finishing up the offensive portion of the free agent extravaganza. Good Lord. The offensive line. There was quite a few big signings. Offensive line wise, both guards and tackles. Mm-hmm. We got a lot to hit on. Hunter, you want to start somewhere? I don't know if you want to start with tackles, guards.
I just pulled up offensive line in general. I'm just going to start there. I think the big one to me was Jack Conklin going from Tennessee to Cleveland. And he got paid, by the way. 3 years, $42 million. I think that's a huge pickup for Cleveland. It gives them a good right tackle to build that offensive line around, even though right tackles aren't that important. But their line was bad, and we saw Baker running for his life all season. So I think that's a good pickup.
Yeah, I think it's. Oh, you got it, Trevor.
I love that pickup for Cleveland. They were already probably going to go freaking tackle in the draft. So if they still go tackle in the draft, now they can secure both sides of the line.
Yeah,
so that
I
really
agree.
should help out Baker Mayfield. Hopefully, keep him from running everywhere on the field.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's excellent. If they get somebody like Andrew Thomas, get somebody one of those top 4 tackles, they could really lock down that line for Baker, which I think would be excellent. Another signing that I thought was really big, or that I really liked, was Connor McGovern to the Jets. He's of course a center. He's getting a 3-year, $27 million deal. But I really like him as a player, as a leader, and I think he would be excellent on that Jets O-line.
Well, I like that pick a lot. He's 27 years old. The money's not too crazy. He should be just really solid for them. I think Denver lost a pretty good player.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Another pickup, though, is Graham Glasgow going to Denver to replace Connor McGovern.
Yes.
He's leaving Detroit. He also got paid $11 million a year, which is pretty big for a guard. He gives them an immediate starter and replacement on that O-line, who's very solid.
Yeah.
And then one that I can't believe is Andrew Whitworth, left tackle for the Rams. This man is 38 years old and signed a 3-year contract. 3 years. So technically this man could play till he's either 41, maybe even 42, depending on where his freaking birthday lies. This is unbelievable to me.
Yeah, I mean, as a left tackle for the Rams, it's amazing to me that they haven't said, all right, your time is done, because I don't know how he's keeping up with some of the speed rushers, especially playing in the NFC West. He's got to play against the 49ers D-line twice a year, and they're re-signing him. I mean, good for him for doing his thing. $10 million a year. That's good stuff. We also had Andrews Pete getting re-signed to New Orleans, 5 years, $57 million, over $11 million a year. It's incredible. As well as George Fant, the tackle from Seattle, going to the Jets, getting paid $10 million a year, 3 years, $30 million. And I think that pretty much covers it when it comes to O-line. I'm trying to think of who else is left.
I'll throw in
Trent Williams
Brian
is still around
as well.
Yeah, Brian Bulaga.
Finally leaving Green Bay, so that could be a sneaky draft pick for the Green Bay in this draft. He went to the Chargers, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah. I think that's a nice pickup for them. Another one is Eric Flowers going to Miami. Leaves Washington with another hole at offensive line. But the big thing is Trent Williams. He's trying to get out of Washington, and I don't know if they're going to let him leave. What do you guys think?
If I'm the Jets, I'm trying everything in my power to pick up Trent Williams.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, so this tweet from Adam Schefter earlier, it was a letter from Trent Williams' agent, and it says, quote, "The relationship between the Redskins and Trent Williams has reached a point where it's in the best interest that the Redskins trade or release him." It says, despite its knowledge of irreconcilable differences, Washington was unable to negotiate a trade at Williams. So he wants out, and he wants out bad. I mean, I'd be surprised if he would even play if it came to the season time and he was still on Washington, because he clearly hates it there. So I think it's quite likely he gets out.
I think I read they misdiagnosed some kind of thing on his body, and it turned out to be cancer, and he's hated the entire organization ever since.
Wow, that's incredible. That's a different level.
Yeah. There was something on his head, and the team doctors were saying it wasn't a big deal, and that turned out to be cancer. So that's kind of a big deal. Yeah,
I'd be pissed too.
But I don't know. The Redskins have a bad history with the team doctors and diagnosing medical issues. With Alex Smith's leg, Trent Williams' cancer, RG3's knee in general, Joe Theismann's knee.
All sorts of stuff, yeah.
They're just not very good
clear
with
that up. I need to clear that up. Well, I think we've just about covered it for the offensive side of things, free agent wise. I think we're gonna wrap up here, stretch our legs, then hit the defense if that sounds good to y'all. I need another beer, to be honest. So from us here at the Backups Cast, a football podcast, thank you.
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at the Backups Cast. This will probably actually go up on YouTube, considering we'll have an MP4 file. So we'll be right back.